what changes have you seen in the gas and welding distribution industry over the last 40 years?
Well, thanks, Rob. I appreciate your invitation to join you here this morning. Um, I've seen a ton of changes over the last 43 years, and I'll tell you, it's almost a little tiring to hear you read off the list of all the places I've lived. It reminds me of a lot of moves. But since the 1970s, the late 70s, when I started my role at Lincoln, I've seen a lot of change on the manufacturer side and on the distributor side. Really, on the manufacturer side of things, which is what I was closest to during my time with Lincoln, um, I think the changes have been obvious in terms of products. Back in the 70s, we were still selling motor generator welding machines that were the size of small cars. That evolved into transformer rectifier technology and solid state machines, and then that ultimately evolved into inverter machines, which are kind of the state of the art in today's world. Much smaller, more efficient, and much more capable welding equipment, which has an impact on the gases that are used for these processes. Um, Also, have seen huge advancements in automation. When I first started, automation was hard automation. They were machines that were configured. I worked in the Detroit office, and we did a lot of work with the auto industry, and they were machines that were very complex, designed to do one task and make one particular weld. Um, we've seen flexible automation come along, and that's almost yesterday's news. Today, we're seeing automation used in the world of adaptive manufacturing and advances there. And really, the next chapter in automation that we're seeing now is cobots, is robots that interact with human operators. So huge change there. Um, Other changes that I would be remiss if I didn't note that changes in safety, operator safety that have taken place over the last 40 years have been paramount. Welding it used to be a pretty dark, dangerous business, and operator safety is a much more front and center issue these days. And then the other thing I would mention is virtual training. It used to be to become a welder, you went to a welding school, or you learned from your peers or neighbors. Now you learn with a virtual, and there's ways to become proficient, or at least basically proficient in the welding trade without necessarily even striking an arc. So those are the things that have changed on the manufacturing side. On the distributor side, I've called on distributors for all of my adult career, and it's been interesting to see how distribution has changed over the years. The big thing that Raphael mentioned in his comment was consolidation. That's the obvious thing that's happened. But in spite of consolidation, we've seen the emergence of a few major players in the U.S. market. There are still lots of small independent distributors and large independent distributors, and I will tell you that in the early 2000s, there were concerns within the Lincoln world that this was all going to get swallowed up, and we would be dealing with 2 or 3 large majors, and that would be it. That has not proved to be the case. There are still probably 350, 400 different independent distributors in the United States. So although there's been change there, some things remain the same. Obviously, there have been a lot of operational efficiency improvements in the distribution world, but the big change that I've seen, or the big opportunity that I've seen, is the e-commerce thing. Distribution, 5 years ago, there were a few independent distributors that tested the waters and done some e-commerce things. Now that's gotten to be pretty much the price of entry in the distribution world, that you have to have the ability to sell your B2B, your large end user customers, using an e-commerce platform. And that's probably the big opportunity that remains out there that a lot of distributors are looking at these days.